Hello students, welcome to your WebSeek.Academy English channel. Today, we will discuss Louis Pasteur, Conqueror of Disease, which is part of the 10th Standard English Syllabus. It was written by E. H. Carter, an American author known for his inspiring and informative biographical writings. A note on the author. E. H. Carter was a historian and author known for his works on British and world history. He wrote several history textbooks that were widely used in schools, including A History of Britain. His books were known for their clear and engaging style, making historical events accessible to students. Louis Pasteur, Conqueror of Disease Summary. Louis Pasteur was born to a tanner who had worked in Napoleon's army and had been honored by him. Louis was born in France. He studied chemistry and became a chemistry professor. His wife was also his assistant during experiments. Louis devoted his whole life to the study of bacteria which are present everywhere: air, water, soil, bodies of animals and plants. Some of them are harmful and some very useful. Louis' discoveries helped common people of his country carry on their professions of brewing, breeding silkworms and keeping cows. When Pasteur was appointed as head of a college of science in Lille, a busy manufacturing town, he was happy because now he could help people with problems in their professions. At that time, people did not have a clear understanding of yeast and germs. Pasteur carried out many experiments to prove that germs were carried in the air and could infect other things that came into contact with them. His experiments with a bend in the long tube of a soup bottle and many bottles of soup opened in different places proved that air is full of dust particles and germs are carried by this dust. Pasteur made his process of pasteurization popular by showing that by heating wine or milk to a temperature of 50 or 60 degrees centigrade, the germ in them was made harmless. Pasteur founded the branch of science called bacteriology and studied for 3 years the cause of a disease ruining the silkworm industry. When Pasteur realized that a cow could not have anthrax twice, he thought of injecting very weak old germs to cows or sheep to make them immune from anthrax. He demonstrated that this could be done so by experimenting in public with 2 groups of sheep, goats, and cows. The ones which were injected with weak germs survived, whereas the other group which hadn't been injected died. Pasteur showed that inoculation with weak germs worked with rabies too by injecting weak rabies germs into a rabies-affected boy. Pasteur's work helped soldiers in the First World War stay healthy even while fighting in unhealthy places. Pasteur was honored by the French government, and his memory is still honored at the Institut Pasteur in Paris where bacteriology is studied by men of all nations. Pasteur's 70th birthday was celebrated as a national festival. He died in 1895 at the age of 75. Pasteur felt that the future belonged to those who shall have done the most for suffering humanity. He told youngsters that they would feel supreme happiness only when they contributed to the progress and welfare of humanity. Short answer questions. 1. What was Louis Pasteur's contribution to science? Answer. Louis Pasteur contributed to science by developing the germ theory of disease, which established that microorganisms cause infections and diseases. 2. How did Pasteur's discoveries impact the field of medicine? Answer. Pasteur's discoveries led to the development of vaccines and improved hygiene practices, significantly reducing the incidence of diseases such as rabies and anthrax. 3. He was not a soldier, but he was a fighter. Answer. This metaphor celebrates Pasteur's dedication to science, presenting his research as a heroic struggle against disease. 4. Pasteur founded the branch of science called bacteriology. Answer. This line underlines Pasteur's profound impact on science, marking the beginning of modern bacteriology and the fight against infectious diseases. 5. His successes saved thousands of lives. Answer. This statement honors Pasteur's contributions to medicine, emphasizing his lasting legacy in saving lives and advancing public health. Long answer questions. 1. Explain the experiments Pasteur conducted to develop the germ theory. Answer. Pasteur conducted several key experiments, including the swan egg flask experiment. He boiled broth in flasks to sterilize it, then left the flasks open to the air. The unique design of the swan egg prevented airborne contaminants from entering while allowing air to circulate. Over time, the broth in the straight-necked flasks became cloudy with microbial growth, while the broth in the swan-necked flasks remained clear. This demonstrated that microorganisms in the air were responsible for contamination and spoilage, supporting his germ theory of disease. 2. What was the significance of Pasteur's work on the rabies vaccine? Answer. Pasteur's work on the rabies vaccine was significant because it was one of the first successful vaccines developed for a viral disease. By using weakened rabies virus samples, he was able to create immunity in animals and, later, in humans. This breakthrough not only saved countless lives but also established a model for vaccine development that would lead to further advancements in immunization against other diseases. 3. Analyze the challenges Pasteur faced in promoting his ideas and the response he received from the scientific community. Answer. Pasteur faced considerable challenges in promoting his ideas, particularly resistance from the scientific community that adhered to older theories, like the miasma theory. Many scientists were skeptical of his germ theory, and he often had to defend his findings against criticism. Despite these challenges, Pasteur persisted, conducting experiments and publishing results that gradually gained acceptance. His determination and eventual success in proving the existence of germs and their connection to disease ultimately won over many skeptics and transformed the field of microbiology. 4. Describe how Pasteur's personal life influenced his scientific career. Answer. Pasteur's personal life greatly influenced his scientific career. His early experiences with illness and loss, particularly the death of his daughter from typhoid fever, fueled his passion for understanding diseases and finding cures. Additionally, his background in chemistry provided him with the foundation needed to conduct innovative experiments. His perseverance in the face of adversity, both in his health and career, drove him to make significant contributions to science and public health. Frequently asked questions. 1. How did Pasteur show the difference between pure and stale air? Answer. Pasteur demonstrated the difference by conducting experiments with swan egg flasks. He boiled broth in these flasks to sterilize it, then exposed one flask to the air, allowing microorganisms from the environment to enter. The other flask remained sealed, preventing air and contaminants from entering. Over time, the broth in the open flask became cloudy due to microbial growth, while the sealed flask remained clear. This experiment illustrated that stale air contained germs, while pure air did not, supporting his germ theory. 2. What was troubling French wine and silkworm industry, Lille? How did Pasteur solve them? Answer. French wine growers were troubled by a problem of wine spoilage caused by unwanted microorganisms that affected the fermentation process. Similarly, the silkworm industry was suffering from diseases that killed silkworms and disrupted silk production. Both industries faced significant losses due to these microbial issues. Pasteur solved the wine growers' problem by developing a process called pasteurization, which involved heating wine to kill harmful microorganisms without affecting its quality. For the silkworm industry, he identified the specific parasites causing the disease and introduced measures to improve silkworm rearing practices, ensuring healthier silkworm populations. 3. Explain the context. If you can cure animals, you can cure my son. Answer. This statement reflects the desperation of a mother whose son was suffering from rabies. She approached Pasteur, who had successfully developed a rabies vaccine for animals. The mother's plea highlights the faith people had in Pasteur's work, believing that if he could save animals from the deadly disease, he could also save her son. It underscores the hope and trust placed in Pasteur's scientific abilities during a time when rabies was often fatal. 4. Explain the context. The future will belong to those who shall have done the most for humanity. Answer. This statement emphasizes Pasteur's belief in the importance of contributing to the welfare of humanity through scientific research and discoveries. It conveys his conviction that true progress and recognition in the future will come to those who dedicate their lives to alleviating the suffering of others. This idea reflects Pasteur's commitment to using his scientific knowledge for the betterment of society and addressing public health challenges. 5. What is the difference between inoculation and vaccination? Answer. Inoculation refers to the practice of introducing a pathogen, usually a less harmful form, into the body to stimulate an immune response. Vaccination, on the other hand, is a more specific term that involves using a vaccine, which contains weakened or killed microorganisms or their components, to prevent disease. Vaccination aims to provide immunity against specific infectious diseases without causing the illness itself. 6. Every research that Pasteur did was meant for the benefit of human beings. Justify. Answer. This statement is justified by the numerous contributions Pasteur made to public health and medicine through his research. His work on the germ theory of disease, pasteurization, and vaccines for diseases like rabies and anthrax directly benefited humanity by preventing diseases, saving lives, and improving food safety. Pasteur's dedication to addressing public health issues reflects his commitment to using science for the betterment of society. 7. What were the two opposing laws that Pasteur spoke during inauguration of Pasteur Institute? Answer. During the inauguration of the Pasteur Institute, Pasteur spoke about the laws of nature and the laws of humanity. He emphasized that while nature imposes challenges and diseases, it is humanity's responsibility to study, understand, and combat these challenges through scientific research and innovation. This highlights the ongoing battle between the forces of nature and the efforts of humans to improve health and well-being. 8. What is supreme happiness according to Pasteur? Answer. According to Pasteur, supreme happiness lies in contributing to the welfare of humanity. He believed that true fulfillment comes from using one's knowledge and abilities to help others and alleviate suffering. This perspective reflects his own life's work and dedication to improving public health through scientific advancements. 9. What message did Pasteur give for young students on his 70th birthday? Answer. On his 70th birthday, Pasteur encouraged young students to pursue knowledge and dedicate themselves to the service of humanity. He emphasized the importance of hard work, curiosity, and perseverance in the field of science. His message inspired students to strive for excellence in their studies and to use their education to make a positive impact on the world. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to WebSeek.Academy for more English lessons and notes. See you in the next video. Until then, learn daily and shine daily.